Hi, this is Hank Friedman. This is my fourth tutorial on astrology software. To see all of my free astrology tutorials as well as astrology software tutorials and articles, go to my website soulhealing.com. This tutorial is about the premier Vedic program Shri Jyoti Star 6 and some of its amazing features. I'm starting at the main screen of Shri Jyoti Star. And if I click on a space on the screen, I can choose from a wide range of menu items. I'm just going to pick a chart. Here's my chart with degrees, planet positions, and so on. However, I don't want it to say Rashi. I want more information, like the person's name, for instance. So I right-click, and I go down to Cycle Titles of this. And now it says Hank Friedman. But I want to see even more information, so I right-click again and click Cycle Titles on this. And I do that one more time, and finally I get my name and the time range when my chart is actually accurate. So if I was born earlier than 9/29/42 or later than 12/01/42, the rising sign would change. You can do this for any subchart too, and so it's an exceptionally useful piece of information to have with each chart. Now I want to put a transit chart up over here. So I click, and instead of having it be from Hank, I say it's for here. And again I click large sign. And there we are, the chart for now. However, it's very useful to have the chart for now oriented towards my rising sign, meaning I want to see what planets are fitting into my natal houses. So I right-click on it, and I say, use as the ascendant the other chart's ascendant. And now it has Leo rising, just like I do. Now I can easily see where the conjunctions are, where the planets are in relationship to my own house. So I see Saturn is near Ketu. Venus has passed Mars. And so on. I get to see things much more easily. I see that Mars is aspecting my 7th house, for instance. So having the rising sign of my birth chart used for the transiting chart is very, very useful. I can also, if I want, put aspect lines in. I don't tend to do that, but these arrows here will switch and use either Western aspects or Tajik aspects or systems approach aspects or whole sign aspects or Parashara and Jaimini aspects or just Jaimini aspects or just Parashara aspects or again none. So for the beginner who wants to see what aspects are formed, this can be very, very useful. I'd like to show you a less commonly understood feature now, which is to go to the data entry screen. I'm going to move it over here, and go down to data, the data choice here, and say See Chart in Main Screen on Native Selection. That may seem obscure to you until you see it in operation. This is under the data menu, the bottom choice, See Chart in Main Screen on Native Selection. What that allows me to do, if I quickly go to a different database, is, for instance, click on Paula Abdul and immediately see her chart here, or Muhammad Ali and immediately see his chart here, or Julie Andrews and immediately see her chart there, or if I scroll down or enter the person's first name, John Belushi, who's passed, and see his chart here, or Drew Barrymore, and immediately see her chart. This can be very, very useful. And notice each of the transiting charts again conforms to the natal chart. So I can see immediately that, for instance, for Drew Barrymore, Rahu is about to be conjunct Mars. So that might have some very strong impacts in terms of her success. You see, Rahu can be a positive or negative influence, and when it conjuncts a planet that's exalted like Mars is in her chart, it may amplify her successes during this period. Very, very useful. You can also, of course, put additional tables. So I can click here, go to Tables, and click on Panchang. And there's a table showing the positions for her birth chart Are there any Gantanta? Who are the Dagda Rashis? And so on. I can put a planet table. And the beautiful thing about this program is you can have custom tables where you have exactly what you want. You can save selections. So let me choose my favorite planet table, and there it is, packed with information. The houses by Rashi, the houses by Shripati, to see the differences, the magnitudes of each of the planets, whether any planets are combust or in planetary war. Again, if we go to open a new native, move that screen over again, we can see someone who has a planetary war. Let's take Maya Angelou. I don't know if she does, but let's just see how hers looks. Yes, she doesn't have any planetary wars, but Jupiter is combust, C2 degrees, the sun. And if we look at her chart, there it is. The combustion shows, so that even though Jupiter is in its own sign and strong, it also has some serious weakness because of that combustion. And in fact, that may indeed be part of why she had such a traumatic life, because you would normally think that with Jupiter in the 8th house, that someone would be protected against catastrophes by the blessings of Jupiter. But having Jupiter combust by the sun, which is the lord of her first house, in fact, means that, in fact, obstacles will be woven into and challenges will be woven into the fabric of her being. There are other things that say that too, like Mars aspecting the first, Saturn aspecting the first, and so on. But this is a factor that also shows that. I'd like to show you one last thing. If we click on a chart, under degrees it says show degrees. We can tell it not to show degrees and click OK, and then everything's much bigger because no degrees are shown. We can also have it add different points, up here planets, etc. in charts. And we could say, okay, I want to see all the bhavas, all the house cusps using the Shripati system. I click OK, and then OK again. And now all the house cusps are there. And notice they're not all where you'd expect them to be. Because she's not born at the equator, her sixth house cusp ends up in Sagittarius. Her 7th and 8th house cusps end up in Aquarius. So you can control what points, house cusps, upagrahas, arudas, and so on are shown. This is a preliminary tutorial showing some of the features of Shri Jyoti Star. I hope you enjoyed it.